Hello and welcome to Computology Academy, and today we are going to discuss about the recent India Central Asia Summit that was organized, that was hosted by our PM Prime Minister Narendra Modi in connection to the Delhi Declaration and to further India's interest. So here we will do the detailed analysis of this event, which marks a great event in Indian diplomacy with Central Asia, and why Central Asia is so important for India, that will be discussed in detail. And various preparatory works were being done by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other diplomats of India to make it successful. So let us start, and it is a very important topic from the point of view of international relations in UPSC syllabus. And here, first of all, this was the first India Central Asia Summit that was organized by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and it was hosted by PM. It was a virtual summit and it was conducted online, while here it was attended by the presidents of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. All of these countries are landlocked countries. However, they are of great importance that we will discuss later on. So here it marks 30 years of diplomatic relation with these countries. So earlier all these countries were the members of USSR, and after the dissolution of USSR in 1991, India established the separate diplomatic relation with these countries that was furthered by the help of Russia, and India was in constant contact with these countries, and India is also having several military and other air force and other things interests also involved in these regions. So here this is the map of Central Asia, and here Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan, these countries attended the summit. And here Afghanistan was one of the point of focus in this discussion, as well as various transport and transit models were also in focus in this discussion in this summit. So let us have a look at those things. So the preparatory stage was the Delhi Declaration that was made a few years ago, and in that India had shown its concern about lack of land connectivity with these countries, because these countries are landlocked countries, so direct sea route is not available with them, and because of the approach, because of the attitude of Pakistan, India was unable to establish the land connectivity with these countries. So India was trying to get some alternative, trying to develop some alternative to find a route, find a connectivity with these countries. And here it was discussed that India will build a Central Asia Center, establish a Central Asia Center in New Delhi to discuss and to deliberate on the relationship with the Central Asian countries and how to establish the connectivity. And two joint working groups were established. One was specifically for the situation that is in Afghanistan. Now the Afghanistan is facing again the unrest, the instability because of the takeover of Taliban, and now all the countries are trying to get some kind of good governance that should be established in Afghanistan. And next joint working group was for the Chabahar port project that is being developed and managed by India in Iran. So this is one of an important aspect through which, one of an important project through which India wants to establish the connectivity with Central Asian countries. And India also highlighted the importance of TAPI, that is Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India gas pipeline that starts from the coast of Caspian Sea and ends in India. So it is also an important gas pipeline project, and it is important from various point of view, from energy security, from diplomacy and other things. So here the importance, what is the importance of Central Asia, because of which India is trying to establish better diplomatic relation with them and to establish connectivity with them. So first is geostrategic importance. And why it is geostrategically important? Because it provides the gateway to the European countries. Here what happens, the European countries can be accessed easily through transit by these countries. And here again one geostrategic aspect is that these countries are important part of Belt and Road Initiative, that is a pet project of China, and through that China is trying to establish its hegemony, a kind of more stake in these countries, and India don't want to let it to be happen, because if it will happen then India will be at losing end. Next is economic importance. And why economically it is important? Because these countries will provide trade routes to the European countries, to Russia and various other regions. Thereafter these countries are not so developed, so there is still various investment opportunities that are available in these countries, through which India can be benefited. Next is growth. As these countries will grow, then a better market will be there for the Indian exports. So again it is a good option for the economic growth of India as well. Next is natural resources. From economic point of view, natural resources are very important thing, and here various kind of natural resources are available in these countries. If we talk about the precious metals, then gold, copper, aluminum, iron ore, etc. are available in these regions. And if we talk about the energy resources, then crude oil and natural gas are found in abundance in these countries. Caspian Sea is having too much of natural gas reserve, and because of this only the 5 countries which are on the coast of Caspian Sea, they had declared the Caspian Sea as a lake but not as a sea or the ocean, to bypass the UNCLOS, right? So that the international trading companies or the other nations which are not of part of the Caspian Sea coast should not have any stake, should not claim any stake through the use of UNCLOS. So that was done by these 5 member countries, and they divided the Caspian Lake in their terms among themselves. So that was the approach, and that was because of the natural resources that are available in this region. So what are the alternative routes that is available with India? So if we talk about the alternative routes, then first is International North-South Transit Corridor. So this is the brainchild of India and Russia, which was launched in Moscow, which was discussed in Moscow, and this was being discussed since 2000 between India and Russia, and formally it was launched in 2011. And the member countries of this INSTC are India, Iran, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Russia, Central Asian countries, as well as some of the European countries. These countries are the part of INSTC, and this INSTC starts from Mumbai port and through sea route it reaches out to the Bandar Abbas port of Iran. From there it takes the land route. It is a multimodal transit and transport corridor in which there will be road connectivity also, sea connectivity will be also there. Thereafter railways are also being developed, and this will provide an important transport and transit corridor to India to reach out to the European countries and to Russia. And this INSTC ends at Moscow, and he from Tehran and other nodes, they bifurcate, they divide, and they reach out to different other locations also. Next is Chabahar port. So India is trying to bring Chabahar port in the INSTC project so that India will be in better position to export its goods to the European nations and Russia and Central Asian countries, because Chabahar port has been developed by India itself and is being managed by India also. And if it becomes the part of INSTC, then India will find a good connectivity to Afghanistan, Central Asian countries, Europe and Russia also. And next is Ashgabat Agreement. So this was a brainchild of, actually it was behind the curtains, that China had prompted this grouping agreement. Here what happened? Here it was discussed in 2011, and initially Qatar was also a part of this Ashgabat agreement. However, it withdrew from this agreement in the year 2015, and thereafter various other countries in the same year, Oman also joined this agreement, and next it was joined by Pakistan, and India also joined this, so that India will find a variety of options to reach out to the Central Asian countries, so that India will not left out with the only option of INSTC. However, it will have various other options also. And the next thing is that India is also trying to counter the Belt and Road Initiative, that is the brainchild of China. So what are the benefits of this summit to India? So first and the foremost is the energy needs. India is still imports around 60% of its crude oil demand, petroleum demand, products demand from the other countries. India is able to meet its demand, its need of up to 40% only. Rest of the amount is imported. So if India gets a good connectivity with Central Asia, then India will be getting a huge amount of energy resources from these countries like gas and crude oil also. Thereafter, securing the interests in Central Asia, basically with the use of BRI, China is getting a good hold in this region, which will jeopardize the Indian interest, and through these initiatives India will be in position to counter China, because Tehran is an important node for BRI project also, as well as INSTC project also, as well as Ashgabat agreement project also. So Tehran is an important node, and here all the projects will converge. So through this, India is trying to secure its own interest. Thereafter, Tapi diplomacy. Right now, there is a constant conflict between India and Pakistan. Now, even in Afghanistan, there is Taliban government. So, if the Tapi project becomes successful somehow I am using the word somehow because still it is not so visible, quite visible that it will be successful or whatever it is. But what happens if somehow it becomes successful, then Afghanistan and Pakistan will start to cooperate with India because of their own vested interest. And what are the vested interests? They will be getting the energy sources, they will get the supply of gas from the Tapi project, as well as even they will get the revenue through the transit royalty that will be paid to them through India as well as through Tajikistan. Now, what happens? Increase in export. So, if a good connectivity is available to India with Central Asia as well as Europe and Russia, then there will be increase in export of goods to these regions, which will benefit India economically. Thereafter, countering China, it is one of an important thing, because China is always trying to curtail Indian moves, curtail the Indian advancement through propping up sometimes Pakistan, sometimes some other countries, and India have to do the same thing. If India will increase its stake, its hold, its connectivity, its diplomacy in the Central Asian region, then China will not find a strong foothold in these regions, through which India can curtail, India can counter China in these regions. So these are the basic facts, and these things should be discussed if there is any question regarding the relationship between India and the Central Asian countries, and why India is always striving hard to get connectivity to these regions, as well as trying to bring these countries in India's lobby. So these are the facts and figures. And here, last but not the least, you can also follow us on our social media handles. That is, this is Computology Academy for Instagram and Facebook, and this is our handle for Telegram. You can also visit our website for various courses, and do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.